Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and today we are going to start the official reviews of these Toymonster International Captivz Jurassic World figures, and we are going to review, as you can see, 5 of the figures right here. We have the Gold Velociraptor Blue, the regular Velociraptor Blue, the regular Indoraptor, the Bronze Indoraptor, and Delta over there on the side. I must say a huge thank you to Toymonster International for sending these over here to us to take a look at and review here on the channel for you guys. Incredibly awesome on the part of Toymonster International. So again, thank you so much to them. But here we can see again 5 of the figures that were included. If you happen to have watched my unboxing a few days back and got a sneak peek of the figures, you'll know that these are really beautiful Jurassic World minifigures, and I was extremely impressed with these figures, and even now, days later, I am still just as impressed as I was then, which is really a huge compliment, I think, to the Captivz line as far as these Jurassic World figures go. But instead of me just continuing to talk about it, let's go ahead and get a closer look at them and you can see for yourself. So starting here with Velociraptor Blue, look at how nicely done the detailing there on the head sculpt is. That is just beautiful, really nice textured appearance to the skin of the raptor, and I feel like the actual head sculpt very nicely matches up to the Velociraptor from the film, so I think they've done a really good job as far as the accuracy department of this raptor goes. Definitely a very nicely done head sculpt as far as the film accuracy goes, but I really think that the actual pose, it's a little bit twisted here, but the pose itself, you can see right there, looks really nice and natural as well on the figure. I think that is a nice touch on top of, again, the very nice and accurate looking head sculpt of the Velociraptor. And look at how small those teeth are. Those teeth are uber tiny and actually very nicely painted for the most part. I mean, looking at it up close, you can see that the teeth look like they're maybe a little bit too thick as far as the paint goes, but for how small that figure is, even if the teeth were horribly sloppy, I still would have been extremely impressed. And again, for something as small as this is, those teeth are really nicely painted for their size. You can see the eyes are painted with a yellowish coloration. I think the only thing that could have improved the head there on this Velociraptor Blue would have been maybe a pupil, and I noticed that a lot of the figures kind of are lacking pupils, so that's something maybe Toymonster could do in the future, would be introduce pupils on the eyes, but still really nice overall. You can see the blue stripe there. That's a kind of Blue's trademark does appear right there, and you can also see some really nice detailing there in the neck region of the Velociraptor. We do have articulation in the neck, so we can turn this to get a better look at the neck sculpt, but you can see really nice scaling as we move down the neck. Absolutely gorgeous skin texture the whole way through on this Velociraptor figure. You can see the spinal column up here along the back. Really nicely sculpted out arms. I love that they're kind of in towards the body in a nice natural position. You can see the hands also look quite nice, and even the nails are painted there. You have a really cool Jurassic World logo there on the underside, kind of like a chrome Jurassic World logo right there. You can see some more beautiful detailing as far as like the body goes in the stomach region of the Velociraptor. Again, look at how nicely done these scales are here as we get back here into the leg, and very nicely defined musculature the whole way down. Absolutely gorgeous foot sculpt on the Velociraptor. Beautiful scoots down the toes. Really nicely painted nails. You have the really nice sickle claw there. And even the dew claws are sculpted out there, just not painted, but that's really awesome on the part of Toymonster. And again, we have the nice tail. We lead out the length of the tail in a very strong curve. And again, really beautiful scale detail as we move out the length of the tail. And if we look over here at the opposing side, again, once you move the head, the stripe no longer matches up, but once we move the head back, the stripe does match up quite nicely. And again, you can see the detailing on this side looks just as beautiful as it did on the previous side. Very nice detailing on the underside as well. So the Velociraptor Blue is just gorgeous, if you ask me. Really nice, very small mini Velociraptor Blue figure, beautifully done. And then you have the goldish version, which is one of the really rare versions that you can find if you do acquire some of these eggs. There are a few rare dinosaurs as far as color variants, and you've got 3 actually, and one of which is the Velociraptor Blue, which you can see has a really cool gold look, and I definitely can say with complete confidence in person, it is really cool looking overall. I'm not normally a big fan of kind of like gold or silver or anything like that color variants of dinosaur figures, but I think these ones from Toymonster are extremely appealing, and you can see just how beautiful it looks and how nicely it is like shiny. It's nicely glossed And just generally, the detail looks incredible with that goldish paint on it. So a really cool addition to the Toymonster Captivz Jurassic World line is this goldish Velociraptor Blue. You can see the silver Jurassic World logo really plays off of that gold look here on the underside. But again, really nice looking figure, and this is one of the really rare ones that you can find, so definitely something to look out for. But the sculpt is exactly the same as the Velociraptor Blue we just looked at. Then we have the Indoraptor, which I think is one of my favorites of the entire group, because the sculpt and detail on this is phenomenal. I think, again, as far as screen accuracy goes, with the sculpt, this is beautiful. The only thing it's really missing is quills, but I think it is absolutely fantastic as far as the sculpt goes. You could even see things like the rib cage there on the Indoraptor, and for something as small as this to have that kind of detail within is incredible. Even like the skin stretching off of the body with this leg pulling back, that's just really, really nice detailing on the part of the Captivz line. And again, you can see the rib cage over here. The scale detail as well is phenomenal. Look at that. And they've brought that detail out in beautiful fashion with a really nice dry brushing with like a grayish coloration. You can see the teeth, just like Velociraptor Blue, are very small but look really nice. They actually look even better here on the Indoraptor than what we had seen on Blue. We have a nice red eye there. Even the tongue inside the mouth is painted, and you have that yellow stripe that leads back from the neck and runs down the course of the entire Indoraptor, as well as kind of a brown stripe here up on the top, which comes out on both sides actually, and runs the length of the spinal column of the Indoraptor. Very nice menacing appearance to the figure, just like the dinosaur had in the film. You can see the hand sculpts look great. Really nicely painted nails. Again, super small nails, but they've somehow done a great job of painting them without any type of sloppiness or anything like that. And really nicely defined musculature here in the thigh. The arm as well has some nice muscle tone to it. The scale detail, again, continues to look absolutely insanely nice. Very nice Jurassic World logo once again. You even have some paint variation here on the underside with a little bit of a dry brushing of like that yellow coloration. So there's a lot of paint application for something like this included, and you can again see just how gorgeous the sculpt looks overall. I love how this foot's even lifting up off the ground as the Indoraptor looks to be mysteriously walking along, just kind of sneaking, looking very evil and definitely like he's up to something. Absolutely incredible is this Indoraptor figure. Probably my favorite, I think, of the entire line. And as far as the rare figures go, you also have a Bronze Indoraptor. So we have 2 of the 3 rare figures in this review right here. And again, with this bronze coloration, look how super, super cool this looks. It looks like a statue of the Indoraptor, and I absolutely love it. Again, not something I would normally be a huge fan of, but as far as this figure goes, I definitely am a huge fan of it, and I think it looks incredibly, incredibly nice with this bronze coloration on it. Really bringing the detail out, I think even maybe better, like you can really see that rib cage now on this version with the bronze coloration. So these limited edition, these kind of like super rare figures as far as the color variants go are incredibly, incredibly nice. Both the gold, blue, and now the bronze Indoraptor. I definitely love both. And again, much more than I expected to. Really cool looking with that bronze coloration on it. And then the final figure we have is Velociraptor Delta, which sculpt-wise I think looks really, really nice. And as far as the paint scheme of the figure, I think is the only thing that's really wrong with Delta. The sculpt is phenomenal, but the paint scheme isn't exactly what we would say would be accurate to what Delta looks like in the actual film Jurassic World. So that is definitely a bit of a downside as far as the figure goes, being a Delta figure. But if we get past the fact that the paint scheme is not accurate, film accurate that is, the paint scheme that they have provided us with is actually a really nice kind of a brownish paint scheme with some darker stripes, and actually almost looks similar to the Jurassic Park Velociraptors as far as like the tones, sort of. You can see those teeth are very small, once again, really nicely painted. You can see even the inside of the mouth, the skin flaps and everything are painted in there. The eyes are painted with a yellowish coloration, and those eyes are very, very small, as are the teeth. So that's extremely impressive how well painted they are for the size of the figure. You can even see some more darker coloration up there on the head sculpt of the raptor. Beautiful creasing in the neck as we move back here into the body. Again, you can see really nice areas that show like skin detail to the figure, and on something this small, that's extremely impressive. Very nice hand sculpt, beautiful arm sculpt. You can even see the musculature and even tensing there in the arm of the Velociraptor. Once again, really nice detailing here in the stomach as far as that scaling to the figure, even skin reacting and stretching off of the body. You can almost make out the rib cage a little bit there. And as we turn it and we let the light kind of hit it, you can see that very nice skin texture to the figure, the very nice scaling to the figure. Beautiful musculature as we move down the leg. Again, really nice Jurassic Park style Velociraptor foot sculpt with the nicely painted nails, just like we saw up there in the hands. Dew claws are back there, but again, not painted, but the sickle claws are. And then moving back up here into the tail, you can continue to see how nicely sculpted out the body is. Very nice sharp curve to the tail right there. And again, the Jurassic World logo. I just hit the camera, but the Jurassic World logo in silver there on the bottom. Again, absolutely beautiful. As far as a minifigure goes, these are definitely and easily the best minifigures that we've had from the Jurassic World line or Jurassic Park line, any Jurassic line. These are definitely the best minifigures. As far as stability on the figures go, of course the Indoraptor being in a quadrupedal pose, he's going to stand pretty well, but Velociraptor Blue actually stands pretty nicely also, so of course the golden Velociraptor Blue would also stand pretty darn well, but Velociraptor Delta, however, does not seem to stand too well as far as mine goes, so I kind of have to position him there biting the Indoraptor's tail. But as far as a size on the figures goes, I'm not going to measure each and every one. I'm just going to hold the tape measure over top so you can get a good idea of what the size is here on the figures in comparison. Hopefully giving you a good idea of what the size is. You're looking at it like 2.5 inches or 6.5 centimeters there on Velociraptor Blue. For a size comparison, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pack Dilophosaurus, and Robert Muldoon next to our Captivz minifigures, and you can see that they are very, very small in comparison to these figures here. Also showing you just how impressive overall they are. When you get nice and close and see the sculpt and paint included, that is extremely impressive now seeing how small they are next to these figures. And I unfortunately don't have any of the Mattel minifigures here at hand, which I'm sure many people are looking for a comparison with those figures next to the Captivz ones. At least I don't have any of the originals. I do have a repainted Stygimoloch that I had created a while back, one that I repainted, so if you happen to have any of the Mattel minis, that's the size of the Stygimoloch in comparison to these. So you can see they are pretty much right around that same size range, but the Captivz Toymonster International minis definitely look a lot better than the Mattel ones as far as the sculpt and also the paint department. So hopefully that will give you a good idea of how well they size up to each other. So these Toymonster International Captivz Jurassic World minifigures are unbelievably nice. Definitely, again, like I had stated, the best minifigures that I have ever seen enter a Jurassic World line or a Jurassic Park line. They just absolutely blew me out of the water when I had opened them in my unboxing a few days back. I was just so unbelievably impressed with each and every one of the figures, and again, I still maintain that same feeling currently, even after having them for a few days, really soaking them in. Sometimes your opinions will change on figures over a few days once you have them, and that is not the case with these at all. These are still just as impressive now as they were when I initially opened them, and I am just totally head over heels in love with each and every one of these. Each one of these figures sports some of the best detailing I've ever seen on a figure this size. They are extremely highly detailed, and they do a great job as far as sculpt-wise when it comes to accuracy from the films. I think they've done a great job of really creating a sculpt that looks generally like the dinosaur in the film that they're representing with their minifigures, and that is definitely a huge plus on the part of Toymonster, is that they've done a great job in the accuracy department on all except for as far as paint application goes. Delta, of course, is not painted as far as what it looked like in the film correctly, but I think that figure looks really cool with the paint scheme that it has. It's just not really accurate to what it had in the film. But again, sculpt-wise, the figures are fantastic. Paint-wise, the figures are as well, of course, if we take accuracy out of the equation with the Delta figure. But even if we move past Delta and we go to Velociraptor Blue and the Indoraptor, I feel like they nailed the paint jobs of those. And again, they're not as highly detailed as you see paint-wise on the dinosaurs in the film, but it's the basic gist of what you get with each of those figures, each of those dinosaurs from the films, and I think they did a fantastic job of painting those here, especially the Indoraptor. That one is just super, super nice looking with the really nice dry brushing they've done to it. Just brings that detail out and makes it pop. But even Velociraptor Blue, they've done a great job on the tones of color and everything used. So absolutely awesome when it comes to the paint. And even the very rare gold Velociraptor Blue and bronze Indoraptor are just super cool, and definitely two figures that I think anybody that can get lucky enough to acquire will absolutely love them, even if you're not a fan of that kind of like repaint with like a bronze or a gold or a silver type of a look. Trust me, when you see these figures in person, it'll probably change your mind, because I felt the same way until I saw them too, and I am super happy to have those now in my collection, as each and every one of the 5 figures that you see here before you are surefire wins. So, as of right now, these figures unfortunately are only available in Australia, but Toymonster International has told me that they do have plans to extend their distribution further next year in 2021, so there's a chance that we will have them here in the United States in 2021. Fingers crossed for everybody that doesn't have the ability to get them right now, as hopefully they will show up here next year. Definitely and without question worth picking all of them up. So, make sure you follow Toymonster International for all the updates as far as when these do start to kind of head to other countries, and make sure you also like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.